A trusted empire quietly survived on borrowed time, hiding debts the public was never meant to see. Britain's power wasn't sustained by wealth alone, but by ledgers buried beneath secrecy and ceremony. This is where the story turns dark, because prosperity masked a century-long dependency on credit. Wars were won, flags raised, yet balance sheets told a far more fragile story. The mystery isn't how Britain ruled, but how it financed dominance without collapsing sooner. Behind Parliament speeches, bankers tracked liabilities that outlived generations of taxpayers. Empire was expensive, far more expensive than colonial revenues ever admitted publicly. Railways, navies, wars, and administration required constant borrowing. Debt became routine, not emergency, normalized through sophisticated financial engineering. This single detail changes everything about how empire truly functioned. In the 19th century, London became the world's financial heart. Capital flowed through British banks, masking the empire's growing obligations. Government bonds funded expansion while postponing repayment indefinitely. Interest payments quietly consumed future tax revenues. But this is where the story turns darker still. Many loans were refinanced repeatedly, never fully repaid. Old debts disappeared into new instruments, rolled forward silently. Colonies indirectly serviced British debt through trade imbalances. Resources flowed outward, profits inward, obligations buried deeper. The ledgers grew thicker as accountability grew thinner. Wars accelerated the cycle beyond sustainable limits. Napoleonic conflicts, colonial campaigns, and world wars multiplied borrowing exponentially. Victory celebrations distracted from mounting liabilities. Gold standards restrained excess briefly, then collapsed under pressure. Britain suspended convertibility repeatedly to survive. Debt was reframed as patriotism, dissent dismissed as disloyalty. But this part was quietly erased from official history. The empire's solvency relied increasingly on confidence rather than capacity. When confidence faltered, emergency measures replaced transparency. Ledgers told truth speeches never acknowledged. After World War I, Britain was financially exhausted. Debts to America replaced debts to Europe. The pound weakened as obligations overwhelmed production. Yet officials insisted Britain remain solvent and stable. Behind closed doors, austerity became unavoidable. Public services shrank while debt servicing remained sacred. But this is where the story turns darkest. Loans intended as temporary relief became permanent chains. Future generations inherited liabilities without consent. Empire became illusion sustained by accounting creativity. World War II sealed the transformation permanently. Britain survived militarily by surrendering financial independence. Loans from allies carried conditions disguised as assistance. Post-war Britain emerged victorious, yet fundamentally indebted. Sterling lost reserve status quietly. Assets were sold to service obligations accumulated decades earlier. The empire dissolved not from rebellion alone, but insolvency. Decolonization accelerated as finances collapsed. Ledgers finally caught up with rhetoric. Scam wasn't malicious, but structural and deliberate. Failed fixes followed predictable patterns. Austerity reduced growth, worsening debt ratios. Devaluation bought time, not solvency. Nationalization shifted burdens without eliminating liabilities. Each solution deferred pain, increasing long-term costs. This single detail changes everything about modern fiscal policy. Debt dependence reshaped political choices for generations. Britain traded sovereignty for stability repeatedly. Financial credibility replaced imperial authority. The ledgers never lied, but leaders did. Modern parallels are impossible to ignore. Governments today refinance endlessly, avoiding repayment through scale. Debt grows faster than economies, justified by confidence alone. Central banks mask insolvency with liquidity injections. History shows confidence lasts until it doesn't. Britain's century-long loan cycle offers a warning. Debt sustains power temporarily, then dictates terms eventually. Transparency disappears when survival depends on illusion. Accounting replaces productivity as the engine of stability. But illusions collapse when trust erodes. Three truths emerge clearly from Britain's hidden ledgers. First, Empires fall when debt outpaces productive capacity. Second, refinancing delays collapse but deepens dependency. Third, secrecy preserves power only temporarily. The warning remains unresolved today. Modern states repeat Britain's path with greater scale. Ledgers grow again, while accountability shrinks. The question isn't whether debt matters, but when consequences arrive. Britain survived a century on borrowed time. History asks whether others will be as fortunate or less.